Ada yang belum? පෙන්වන්න බලන්න. අම්බෝ. ලස්සනයිනේ.
Hello girls, how are you all doing?
Hello, ma'am. Doing good.
Only 3 of you are there today. Hansani has dropped me a message saying that she also having power cuts. What about Nadisha?
මම බලන්න පොඩක් එයා මේ ගාලේ ගිහිල්ලා ඉන්නේ මේ මොකද්ද කිව්වා මේ මම පොඩක් බලන්නම් මම.
Okay.
Ma'am, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Rangi.
මෑම් එයා මේ ඔෆ්ලයින් ඉන්නේ
Right.
තාම නෑ වගේ. ඔව්.
Then we'll get started, right?
ඕකේ මෑම්.
Now, did you all have time to go through the tute which I sent you? Developmental theories. So today we are going to talk about Jean Piaget. I know that you all are aware of his cognitive development theory, right? Do you all know about him? Have you heard about him, Jean Piaget?
Yes ma'am.
What have you all heard about him? Can you tell me some information about Jean Piaget?
මෑම් අවදි 4ක් ගැන අර මනෝශාලක මේ මට ඒක හරියටම මේ ඇත්තටම මතක නෑ.
Oh,
ඒ වගේ මේ
correct. Yes, true. What else? තව මොනවද? What do you know about him? Jean Piaget. Hmm? Nothing? Hmm? Do you have any idea of his theory?
He's a child psychologist.
He's a
Jean
Swiss
Piaget.
psychologist. Yes, not a
Yes.
child. He's a psychologist. Yes.
Psycho.
He was a psychologist and he was a Swiss psychologist, right? And his work is on child development, right? And his theory, the name of his theory is cognitive development, theory of cognitive development, right? So in his theory, he suggests that children move through 4 different stages of learning, right? In his theory, cognitive development, he has found out and he suggested that the children move through 4 different stages of learning, right? So his theory focuses not only on understanding how children acquire knowledge, right? So his theory talks about how the children understand the nature of intelligence, right? Not only how children acquire knowledge. ළමයි දැනුම ගන්න එක විතරක්ම නෙමෙයි. බුද්ධි මට්ටම. Understanding the nature of intelligence, right? So that's why this theory is called cognitive development. Do you understand Jean Piaget's cognitive development theory? So according to his theory, he suggested that the children move through 4 different learning stages, right? And also his theory focuses not only on understanding the children acquire knowledge, but also understanding the nature of intelligence, right? ළමයා දැනුම ගන්නේ තේරුමක් ඇතුව ඒ විතරක් නෙමේ මේ බුද්ධි මට්ටමත් මෙන්න මේ අන්ඩර්ස්ටෑන්ඩින් එකට බලපානවා කියන එක තමයි cognitive development theory එකෙන් Piaget සඳහන් කරන්නේ, right? So let's see Piaget's theory of cognitive development, right? So cognitive theories focus on how our mental processes or cognitions change over a period of time. කොහොමද අපේ මේ බුද්ධි මට්ටම වෙනස් වෙන්නේ කියන එක තමයි cognitive theories වල main focus එක වෙන්නේ, right? So cognitive theories describe an interaction between the child and the environment in which development occurs through a constant process of going back and forth between the person and the environment, right? Cognitive theories describe not the interaction, sambandhe, between the child and the environment. Understood? So cognitive theory describe an interaction, sambandha, between the child and what is the next party? Who is the next party? Child and the what? What is the next party? Child
Environment.
and
Environment.
the environment, right? So he is trying to build up a connection between the child and the environment, right? So cognitive development again, Jean Piaget, Voisky, John Dewey, many philosophers, psychologists, they also have developed a lot of important concepts about this cognitive development, right? Cognitive development. Now, if you get a question, who are the name few psychologists who studied cognitive development or who introduced theories on cognitive development? Whom you can mention? Who are they? Yes. Who has introduced about child's development, cognitive development?
Jean Piaget.
Jean Piaget, yes. Who else?
Eric Erikson.
Madam, are you in the meeting? Hello, madam.
Yes, yes, I'm there. Just give me a minute. Sorry, you all don't have any power cuts, no?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. You have now, right?
Yeah. Is clinic, can you make me as the host? Thank you. Yes, now can you all tell me who are the psychologists who has talked about cognitive development?
Ma'am, Sigmund Freud.
Uh,
Eric Erikson.
who else?
Albert Bandura.
He has talked about the social learning theory, no?
Okay.
Cognitive development. Cognitive development.
Vygotsky?
Uh,
Vygotsky.
Vygotsky.
Ma'am, Ivan Pavlov.
Ivan
That-
Pavlov.
Pavlov. Okay.
John Dewey. They are the educationists who has introduced about cognitive development, right? So they have created many theories, right? So among these theories, we are going to give a special reference to this Piaget's theory of cognitive development, right? So he says that the children learn in 4 different stages, right? So children move through 4 different stages while they are learning, right? Can you tell me what are those 4 stages? What are those 4 stages?
Sensory motor stage.
Sensory motor stage,
Pre-operational stage.
right,
Concrete operational stage.
right.
Formal operational stage.
Very good. Formal operational stage. What are the 4 stages? Sensory motor stage, pre-operational stage, concrete operational stage, and formal operational stage, right? So they are the 4 different stages that the children move through while they are learning. So who has introduced these 4 stages?
Jean Piaget.
Jean Piaget. Right, good. So, Jean Piaget intended the developing child as an actor within the social world of surrounded meanings. So, Piaget is recognized as one of the most influential cognitive theorists in the field of child development, right? He is given a special place in the development of children, right? So he was one of the first to recognize and make out the ways in which children differs from that of adults, right? So he only has found out how children intelligence differs from adults. වැඩිහිටියන්ට වැඩිය දරුවන්ගේ බුද්ධි වර්ධනය කොහොමද වෙනස් වෙන්නේ කියන එක හොයාගත්තේ Jean Piaget, right? So his perspective on development was shaped by his early interest in the natural sciences, while his views on cognitions begin to take form while he worked with Frodo Simon trying out the new reasoning IQ test on children, right? So he was doing natural sciences. So he had the desire to find out how children learn, right? How children learn. So Piaget was not interested in whether a child's answer was right or wrong. When he checked the IQ level of the students, he doesn't want to know whether the children's answer is right or wrong. මේ ළමයා දෙන උත්තරේ හරිද වැරදිද කියලා බලා ගන්න එක නෙමෙයි පියාජේට ඕන උනේ, right? But rather is in and reasoning process that lead to the answer, the logic behind the answer. What he wanted to find out is why did the child answer like this? මොකද්ද පියාජේට දැනගන්න ඕනුනේ? ඇයි මේ දරුවා මේ වගේ ආන්සර් එකක් දුන්නේ කියන එක. තේරුණාද? So rest of his life, right, he spent studying the intellectual development of the children. So ළමයිගෙන් ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහලා ළමෙක් ආන්සර් එකක් දුන්නාම එයා බැලුවද ආන්සර් එක හරිද වැරදිද කියලා? Did he
නෑ.
check whether, yes. So what does he want to know?
ඇයි ඒ වගේ ආන්සර් එකක් දුන්නේ කියලා.
Yes, why the reply was like this, right? He never went to see whether the answer is right or wrong, right? He wanted to know why the reply or the answer was this, right? So he spent the rest of his life studying the intellectual development of children, right? So his theory continued to all throughout his lifetime based on repeating naturalistic observation of children. So how did he develop this story? How did he develop this story? Yes. කොහොමද එයා ළමයි ගැන හොයාගත්තේ? බලන්න මට කියන්න. How?
එයාගේ මේ ළමයි තුන්දෙනා ඔබ්සර්ව් කළාද? නෑ.
එයාගේ ළමයි නෙමෙයි, එයා මොනවද කරේ? එයා observe කරා. Naturalistic observation of children. එයා naturally ළමයිගේ මේ එයාගේ ළමයිගේ මේ මොනවද natural කියන්නේ මේ
ස්වභාවික.
ස්වභාවික. එයාගේ ළමයිගේ කොහොමද ඒගොල්ලෝ normally behave වෙන්නේ? ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අන්න එහෙම ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් අපිත් සමහරක් වෙලාවට අපේ දරුවෝ දිහා බලාගෙන ඉන්නේ. අනේ වගේ observe කරනවා including his own children. එයාගේ ළමයිනුයි අනිත් ළමයිනුයි ඔක්කොම එයා මොකද කරේ? observe කරා. ළමයා නිදහසේ කාලය ගත කරන්නේ කොහොමද? right? එතකොට ළමයා ප්‍රශ්නකදී කොහොමද මුහුණ දෙන්නේ? අන්න ඒක natural behavior කියලා කියන්නේ අපි යාගේ ස්වභාවික behavior හැසිරීම් රටා කියන්නේ අපි අන්න ඒවා යා observe කරා, right? And then he proposed that children's intellectual skills change over the time and that children of different ages interpret the world differently. So from his natural observation, he found out that the children's intellectual skills, that means the cognitive, buddhi vardhanaya, change over the time. මේ බුද්ධි වර්ධනය දිනෙන් දින වෙනස් වෙනවා. Right? And ඒක වෙනස් වෙනවා දරුවන්ගේ වයසත් එක්ක and ඒගොල්ලෝ interpret කරනවා word එක differently. ඒගොල්ලෝ ලෝකය දකිනවා එක එක වෙනස් විදියට. තේරුණාද? He
Yes,
believes that
ma'am.
young children construct knowledge in the course of thinking about physical actions and that children are continually recognizing their ideas about the world as they interact with people and objects. Now, in the world, the children interact with people and objects, right? So, according to his belief, he believed that young children develop their knowledge in the course of thinking about physical actions. Physically මොනවද වෙන්නේ? And that children are continually recognizing their ideas about the world as they interact with people and objects. Then අපිත් සමහරක් වෙලාවට මේ අපේ අවට පරිසරය අපට තියෙන ලෝකය ගැන අපි ඉගෙන ගන්නවා. We connect with people, right? We connect with people. Sometimes we might neighbors, our cousins, friends. When we go to an organization office, we meet different people there, right? If you go to a supermarket, you might get to know some other people, right? So, we develop something, we share knowledge, we share experience. So we interact with them. ඒගොල්ලන්ට අපි කතා බහ කරනවා, hina වෙනවා. මේ මොනවා හරි share කරගන්නවා. We interact with them. So he believed that the physical actions that the children are continuously recognizing their ideas about the world as they interact with people and objects. මේගොල්ලොනුත් මේ ළමයිනුත් මිනිස්සු සහ objects දේවල් එක්ක interact කරලා they develop their cognitive skills කියන එක තමයි එයා යාගේ theory එකෙන් පෙන්වන්න හදන්නේ, right? So in his theory he suggests that the brains mature and children experience the world through action. So මේ මොලේ වර්ධනය වෙනවා, මොලේ mature වෙනවා. The children, how do they learn? They learn by their experience the world through action. එයාලා දකින දේවල්, කරන දේවල්, ඒගොල්ලෝ engage වෙන activities වලින් ඒගොල්ලෝ experience එක ගන්නවා, right? So the progress through four broad stages of thinking. So each stage is constitutively different and more adapted to understanding the world. So he develops four stages. මෙන්න මේකේ මෙයා මේ වගේ දේවල්. මෙන්න මේ stage එකේදී he learned this. During this stage he learns this, and the last stage he learned like this. So there are four stages, right? And මේ stages හතරම එක සමානද? Are they same?
No.
No. So these stages are different and more adapted. හරි දැක්ක ගමන් ඒගොල්ලෝ එක අනුකරණය කරනවා, right? අනුකරණය කරන්නේ මොනවටද? To understand the world around them. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ වටපිටාවේ තියෙන පරිසරය තේරුම් ගන්න තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ adapt වෙන්නේ, right? So these are the four stages. Sensory motor stage from birth to 2 years, pre-operational stage ages 2 to 7 years, concrete operational stage ages 7 to 11, formal operational stage ages 12 and up. Right there, another.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So we should understand and we should remember that the age ranges, age ranges approximate are influenced by the child's experience and environment. If a child lives in a rich experience or rich environment, his experience are more or less more, right? If the child lives in a poor, low experience, very less experience, or negative environment, his cognitive development or the experience is very how?
low.
Low, very low. So we have to identify this. Even though they are in the Piaget divided the children into these 4 stages, that also the independent intelligent level will depend according to the experience and the environment that the child lives in, right? එතර දරුවා හොඳ environment එකක ඉන්නවා නම් දරුවට හැම පැත්තෙම දියුණුවක් තියෙනවා. දරුවාගේ environment එක poor නම් experience ගන්න අඩුයි නම් දරුවාගේ දැනුම, බුද්ධි වර්ධනය, cognitive skills, intellectual skills development එක low. Right? There is a considerable variations across cultures as well. Now, different cultures, they believe in different ways. And ඒවා වගේ වෙනකොට religious believers, cultural beliefs, ඒවා ඔක්කොම වෙනකොට දරුවන්ගේ බුද්ධි මට්ටම් වල අඩු වැඩි වීමක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So first we are going to talk about the sensory motor stage. So normally we say this is from birth to 2 years, right? So this is the infants and the toddlers. Yesterday we discussed infants and toddlers. Can you remember? So understand the word in the terms of physical actions on the environment. And infants move from simple reflexes to an organized set of behaviors. මට දැන් මේක පොඩ්ඩක් describe කරන්න බලන්න ඕගොල්ලෝ. මේ sensory motor stage එකේදී what happened to the children? According to Jean Piaget, what happened to the children during the sensory motor stage? Say, any one of you please explain me. Yeah. Sensory motor, the stage, age ranges from birth to 2 years. Yeah.
Ma'am, newborn spend most of their time sleeping. Mm. And in infant
Simple reflexes to an organized set of behaviors. මොනවද ඒ කියන්නේ? Infants ලා.
in
එක පාට මේගොල්ලන්ගේ දියුණුවක් තියනව නේද? එක දිගට ඒගොල්ලෝ හාන්ස් වෙවි නිදියගෙන ඉඳලා නේද? behavior එකේ change එකක් තියනව නේද? ඒගොල්ලෝ ඔලුව උස්සන්න බලනවා නේද? කඳ කෙලින් කරන්න බලනවා, තනියෙන් ඉඳ ගන්න බලනවා නේද? ඒතර organized set of behavior එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකත් ඉගෙන ගන්නනේ නේද? බුද්ධි වර්ධනයක් නේද? ඊට පස්සේ සද්දයක් ආව මෙහෙම සද්දයව පැත්තට බලනවා නේ? සද්දයවම සද්ද පැත්තට බලනවා. මොනවා හරි බැල් කරලා බලනවා how does it sound, right? So ඒගොල්ලෝ මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ? simple reflexes වලින් ඉඳන් organized set of behavior එකට ඒගොල්ලෝ change වෙනවා during the sensory motor stage. Right? So මේගොල්ලෝ infants and toddlers, they understand the world in the term of physical actions. Physical actions. ඔගොල්ලෝ දැකලා ඇති අපි hina වුණොත් බබා hina වෙනවා. කොහොම එයාත් මොකද කරන්නේ? එයාත් කට උල් කරගෙන අපිත් එක්ක the baby is also trying to speak. Right? So එයා මොනවා වලින්ද ඉගෙන ගන්නේ? Physical actions වලින්. තේරුණාද ඔයගලන්ට ඒක? Physical actions which happens in the environment. The toddlers and the infants understand the world. සමහරක් වෙලාවට බය වෙනවා, සමහරක් වෙලාවට hina වෙනවා, සමහරක් වෙලාවට පුදුම වෙලාවට ඇස් දෙක බලාගෙන කට ඇරගෙන ඉන්නවා. නේද? Right? So this is from birth to 2 years. හරි? තේරුණාද ඔයගලන්ට sensory motor stage එක ගැන?
yes ma'am.
Right.
Yes,
දැන්
ma'am.
ඔයගලගේ notebook එකේ ලියන්න ගන්න බලන්න sensory motor stage එක ගැන පොඩි note එකක්. මේක දිහා බලාගෙන පොඩි note එකක් ලියන්න. හතරටම ලියන්න ඕනේ අද. මොනවද දරුවාගේ වෙනස්කම්? ඒ ඔක්කොම ටික ලියන්න ඉක්මනට. In a paragraph, Have you finished, girls?
Yes, ma'am.
Girls, have you all finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Tilini, can you read out?
Sensory motor stage. Infant and toddlers understand the world in terms of physical actions and on the environment. First they're born, most of the time they are sleeping. When they're hungry, they cry. With their growth, they listen to sounds and react for those sounds. They learn to raise their head, to sit, walk, talk, and all. They can recognize their family members with the voice as well. Infants move from simple reflexes to an organized set of behaviors.
Right. Have you included the age? Age
Uh,
range?
yes, birth to 2 years.
2 years. Right. Okay. Anyone else who would like to read out?
Ma'am,
Yes.
uh,
Go ahead.
Piaget designed the first 2 years of an infant's life as the sensory motor stage. During this period, infants are busy discovering relationship between their bodies and the environment. Researchers have discovered that infants have relatively well developed sensory abilities.
Well developed sensory
Abilities.
abilities. Right. Okay. Right. Ruangi, have you finished?
Yes, ma'am. But I'm same as the theory. The lesson I have written. I will read some more about that.
Okay.
There's a more sound in here. I can't make. Yeah, there are 4 stages focusing on Jean Piaget's theory in the cognitive development. They are sensorial stage, pre-operational stage, concrete operational state, and formal operational stage. Sensorial stage means the stage of infants are understanding the world in terms of physical actions on the environment. They are simple reflexes, organized set of behaviors. Pre-operational stage means young children, they are concentrating a world of permanent objects using mental symbols representing objects and events. Concrete operational stage means
No, I want only the sensory motor stage only, Ruangi. I have
Hari.
taught you the rest of the stages. I want only the sensory motor stage only,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
So in the sensory motor stage, you have to include the birth to 2 years, the age range you have to include, right? And you have to tell them that they understand the world from the physical actions that take place in the environment, right? And these infants move from simple reflexes to an organized set of behaviors, such as Tilini and Umesha said, you can describe how they behave according to their ages, how they behave at the birth, and once they get mature, how they develop their behaviors, right? That you have to include in your answer, right? So next we come to the pre-operational stage. Pre-operational stage means the age range is from 2 to 7 years. So what type of children are in this age range?
Age 2 to 7.
Young
They are
children.
yes, they are young children, right?
Children.
So they are more concentrations on constructing a world of permanent objects, right? So now this is the period where they enter the preschool, right? So they can use the mental symbols to represent objects and events, right? Like means now we'll say mental event එකක් තමයි party එකක්, right? So they can symbolize the party. You may have seen some children, they act like going to a party. They take the bag, they wear a fancy dress, wear some shoes, tok gagayan. So what do? They have the mental symbol එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒගොල්ලෝ ඔළුවෙන් මවාගත්ත ලෝකයක් තියෙනවා. ඒක represent කරන්න පුළුවන් ඒගොල්ලන්ට objects to events. Do you understand? And their language is rapidly increasing. They gain lot of language, right? They learn words by listening, by observing, by reading, right? They gather a lot of words. That from where do they gather words?
From preschool.
From the where? What? Simple. Environment. They learn from environment. ඒගොල්ලෝ ඉන්න පරිසරේ ඒගොල්ලෝ වචන එකතු කරගන්නවා. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි කිව්වේ rich environment එකක් නම් දරුවාගේ development එක වෙනස්. If the child doesn't get enough language there, then her language development is very low. But in they are developing their language, the number of words so rapidly, and through their environment as well as the dramatic play, reading, like that, the different activities, they get words, right? So social games and games with rules emerge as children become increasingly involved in social play with peers. So 2 to 7 years, this is they move with their friends, peers, same age, right? And කොහෙ ගියත් ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැකලා තියෙන ඒ වයසේ බබ්දරුවෝ එකතු වෙනවා. Even if you go to a party, even if you go to a funeral or the temple or the supermarket, sometimes the children who are very socialized, they get together, right? Some children who are not into this age range, they will not get involved with these children, right? So if they are elder to them, right? අවුරුදු 10 12 වගේ වෙනකොට they won't like to play with this age group, right? So they want their peers, එකම වයසේ අය වෝනේ, right? And so they will engage in different play games, right? So this also will develop their skills, cognitive skills. Do you know language skills, social emotional skills, right? So that is what pre-operational stage කියලා කියන්නේ Piaget ගේ cognitive development එකේදී. Right? The main thing is young children concentrate on constructing a world of permanent objects. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඊළඟ පැරග්‍රාෆ් එක ලියා ගන්න බලන්න pre operational stage එක ගැන. Done? Finished?
Done, ma'am.
Right. Who else has finished?
Finish, ma'am.
දැන් ලොග්ගු නෙවෙයි මොකක්ද කරන්න කිව්වේ?
Right. Nadisha මම මේ දෙක ගැන sensory motor stage එකයි pre-operational stage එක ගැනයි පොඩි paragraphs දෙකක් ලියා ගන්න දුන්නා. ඔයා එක මට පස්සේ කරන්න. Okay, ඊළඟ එකේ ඉඳන් අපි කරමු. Right. Umesha, have you finished?
Okay, ma'am. Just now.
Ruangi?
Yes, finish, ma'am.
Oh, yeah.
Finish.
Ruangi, can you read only the pre-operational stage, right?
Right. Pre-operation stage, young children are concentrate word of permanent of objects. They are representing using mental symbols and objects and events. Example as going like parties, talking with their friends in the party mates. They involving with their friends, and children starting to talk, engage symbolic play, engage symbolic plays, and asking questions. Even encourage them to come up with their own their ideas like that.
Own
Yes.
ideas.
Yes.
Right.
Come up with their own ideas, asking questions from them to make their ideas coming on like that.
To express their ideas.
Express, yes.
To express their ideas. Okay. Right. They will inquire the situations and try to express their ideas. Right. Yes, Tilini?
Pre-operational stage, age 2 to 7 years. Young children concentrate on constructing a world of permanent objects. Preschool children can use mental symbols to represent objects and events. During this age, they love to pretend playing, such as they dress well and going for party. They are teaching for their toys at home, just like their teacher in the classroom. And also, language is developing rapidly through dramatic play. Social games and games with rules emerge as children become increasingly involved in social play with peers. In this age, children socialized with their friends more.
No. Friends or the peers. Socialize with their peer groups. Right. Yes, Umesha?
Ma'am. මෑන් පොඩි නොටි නයන මේ එහා ගෙදර මේ අයියට මේ මයික එකක් හම්බෙලා සින්දු දාලා තියෙනවා සයිට සද්දේ හෙලෝ
Yeah.
මම කියන්න the pre-operational stage is the second stage in Piaget theory of cognitive development. This stage begins around age 2 as children start to talk and last until approximately age 7. During this stage, children begin to engage in symbolic play and learn the manipulate symbols.
I couldn't get you the last one.
Okay. Last
Children
one. begin to
children begin to
engage the symbolic play and learn to manipulate symbols.
manipulate objects.
Yes.
Right. Okay. That's all.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Try to include more in that, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Operational stage, how they develop their language, how they interconnect with the others and develop the social emotional skills, language development, cognitive skills, right? You can
Okay, ma'am.
write a lot for 2 to 7 years because you always deal with 2 to 7 years age range, right? As
So,
teachers, we engage most of the time with this age group,
okay.
right? Okay, the concrete operational stage, what does it mean? Concrete operational stage. What is it? So this is the third stage. That is from 7 to 11 years. So what is this stage? So their reasoning skills become more logical. ඔගොල්ලෝ බලන්නකො පොඩක් ඔය අවුරුදු 7 11 දරුවන්ට කතා කරලා කොහොමද ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ කතාව කියලා. ඒගොල්ලන් ලොජික් එකක් තියෙනවමයි, තර්කයක් තියෙනවා. ඇයි ඒ කියන්නේ? ඇයි එහෙම කියන්නේ? නැද්ද? ඇයි මම කියන්නේ? ඇයි මම යන්න ඕනේ නැත්තේ? ඇයි මම යන්න ඕනේ? දැකලා නැද්ද ඔයගොල්ලෝ එහෙම එකක් තියෙනවා? හැමතිස්සෙම into logic තර්ක කරන්නමයි බලන්නේ. reason එකක් හොයනවා. Why this is this? Why what happened to this? ඔයාලා එහෙම experience කළා නැද්ද?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
මේ වයසවල ළමයිගේ යන්නේ ඒක තමයි මූලිකම දේ. Right? So children's reasoning skills become more logical. Right? And thinking becomes very dynamic, reversible. Right? And they can organize objects into a hierarchies of classes. ඒගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා මේක මෙච්චර දේ හොඳයි, මීට වැඩිය දේ හොඳයි, මෙහෙම වුණොත් තව හොඳයි, මේක නම් එච්චර හරි නැහැ, මේකට වැඩිය අරක හොඳයි. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේ වගේ ළමයෙක් පොඩක් ඔය টয় ෂොප් එකට අරන් යනකො ඔයගොල්ලෝ බලන්න. එතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ දැන් පොඩි එකෙක් ගිය ගමන් නම් ඔය තියෙන මොකක් හරි පාට එකක් අල්ලගන්න. අරගොල්ලෝ එහෙම they try to compare and contrast. This is like this is like this is bigger than this, I will go for this. There is another one, this is better than this කියලා. They they try to find out the hierarchy. හරි ලොකු දේවල් ගැන ඒගොල්ලෝ බලන්නේ of classes, right? And they have developed a theory of mind, although they may still have difficulties taking on the perspective of another person. They have difficulties in understanding the other's objectives, goals. They are still small, right? So the children begin to take intentions into account into their moral judgments. They take a lot of judgments, right? So when they take judgments, they will not consider anything, only the moral. Moral එක මට මෙහෙම වුණොත් මෙහෙම දෙයක් වෙයි. මෙයා මෙහෙම දෙයක් කරපු හින්දා මෙයාට මෙහෙම දෙයක් වෙයි. Right? So this is concrete operational stage. හරිම concrete ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ. Very concrete, right? They are more logical, right? They develop their reasoning skills. They ask questions. They argue. They point out in logics, right? So their organizations is really good, right? And sometimes they have difficulties in understanding the other self because still they are not mature enough to understand some others' feelings, right? So they always take the moral judgments. They take the judgments. Do you understand? So that's why Piaget called this concrete operational stage. දැන් ඒගොල්ලෝ හොඳ පදනමක් දාගෙන එනවා. එහෙට මෙහෙට යවන්නේ නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා මේවවල මෙහෙම වෙනස්කම් තියෙනවා. මේවවලින් මම හොඳම දේ ගන්න ඕනේ කියන එක. ඒගොල්ලන්ට they can argue, they can ask questions. They can ask why, we can reason well. So that is why they call it concrete operational stage. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Make him paragraphically unbalanced. Done. Done? Girls, hurry up.
Finish, madam.
Right, Ruangi, can you read out?
Yes, sure. Concrete operational stage, which means children. Can you hear me? No.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Concrete operational stage, which means children become logical and thinking, dynamic and revisable. Children organize objects into hierarchies and developing theory of minds. And this age is aging 7 to 11 years, which mentioned as, and they are the children are beginning to take intentions into account in their moral judgments, and also child is trying to ask logical things and touching things like that, and they are beginning to develop logical thinking skills and performing. That's all.
Right. Okay, anyone else? Pilimi?
Concrete operational stage, age 7 to 11. In this stage, children's reasoning skills become more logical, thinking becomes decentered, dynamic, and reversible. During this period, children can understand more than young age, so they are questioning and arguing their thoughts. They are rich with their vocabulary. They can organize objects into hierarchies of classes. They have identification of objects by comparing and to choose the best thing. Children developed a theory of mind, and also they may still have difficulties taking on the perspective of another person, because still they don't have much experience in society. That's it, ma'am.
Right. Is Umesha?
Ma'am, I'm still writing.
Right. Okay. So the formal operational stage. What has happened during this stage? This is the last stage. Ages from 12 and up. So what do you think that what happens during this age? What does it happen? Yeah. What happens? So we, especially 12 and up. So we have the adolescents, right? And they think systematically, right? They think systematically, and they can reason about abstract concepts and understand the ethics and scientific reason, right? And they can generate hypotheses. මෙහෙම වුණොත් මෙහෙම වෙනවා. මෙහෙම හරි ගියොත් මේක හරියනවා. මම ගියොත් මට ලැබෙනවා. Hypotheses මොනවා හරි දෙයක් වෙන්න ඒගොල්ලෝ හිතනවා මේ දේ මේවා වෙනවයි කියලා. තේරෙනවද? So they can generate hypotheses. මම අද ගියොත් හරි. මම මේක ඇන්දොත් මෙහෙම වෙනවා. මම මෙතනට ගිහිල්ලා මේක ගත්තොත් තව දෙයක්. right? So reasoning has also to understand the rules and a result of mutual agreements, right? So their moral reasoning has evolved to understand the rules. Rules are there, they understand the rules, not like the small ones, they understand. In this place, we should not do this. In this place, we can do this. There is a rule, we have to by the rule, right? They understand and they come to mutual agreements, agreements, right? So this is formal operational stage. They are very formal, very formal. They think systematically, they work systematically, they can reason well, right? And they can understand the ethics. මොනවද අපි කළ යුත්තේ, මොනවද අපි කරන්න හොඳ නැත්තේ, right? And they can have a lot of involvement with scientific reasoning, right? And they can generate hypotheses. Hypothesis එකක් කියන්නේ දෙපැත්තක් තියෙනවා. මේක කරොත් තමයි මේක වෙන්නේ. මේක වුණොත් තමයි මෙන්න මේක වෙන්නේ. Hypotheses. So they can generate, they can create hypotheses. මම ස්කෝලේ ගියොත් මට මේක හම්බ වෙයි. මම මේ දේ කරොත් මට එක්සෑම් එක පාස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So they are very formal, very systematic. They can reason very well. So why do you think that this formal operational stage people like behave this? Why is it? Why?
This age,
Yes, what happened?
they can understand.
Yes, they can understand.
They are mature.
They are matured, yes. And they have a good environment. They can understand what is right, what is wrong, right? They can learn with the what they see from the environment, right? And they are more connected with the environment, right? එන්න දරුවෝ ඇසුරු කරන අය වැඩි වෙනවා. නේ ඒගොල්ලන් connections, interconnections with the others are getting larger, right? So their connections, their communication systems, their bonds, everything getting expand, right? Because of this formal operational stage, they become very systematic. They can reason well. They can understand what they should do, what they should not do. And their behavioral pattern is also different, right? They know how to act in different situations, right? So everything that they gather from the environment. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Formal operational stage. එකක් තියාගන්න බලන්න ඉක්මනට. Done?
Finish, madam.
Right. Okay. Who would like to read it? You don't speak. Yes, Ruangi, have you finished?
Ma'am, finish.
Yeah, Ruangi, can you read out?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Right. Formal operational stage, age 12 and up.
Mehemal Patangana, Ruangi.
Yes.
According to the cognitive theory introduced by John Piaget, the formal operational stage age range is from 12 ages and up. Right? There should be a way that you have to start the answer. Okay?
Yes.
You can start it like that way. Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Others also please note it. Right?
Uh,
Or else the last stage of Piaget's
Piaget's
cognitive
theory.
development theory is the formal operational stage, which is from the age 12 and upwards. Okay?
Right. Yes. According to Piaget's theory, the last theory of formal operational stage is the age between age is 12, between 12 and up, and this stage is referring for adolescents only, and they can think systematically and abstract concepts, understanding ethics and scientific reasoning, and generating hypotheses. And during this stage, children have the ability to systematically solve a problem in logical way. Designing experiments, thinking about scientific things like that, and they can children understanding the rules that making out of, and they solving the results of the for the till the RAS agreements. That is the behaviors. That's all.
Can you repeat the last one?
The example or solving the problem. During this stage, children have the ability to systematically solve a problem in logical way. As an example, designing create scientific things, doing experiments, and they evolve to understand that the rules and the rules and results are of mutual agreements.
Right. They get into mutual agreements. Right.
Yeah.
Mutual.
Thank you.
Formal operational stage, ages 12 to and up. As a Piaget's theory, the last stage is formal operational stage. Adolescents can think systematically, can reason about abstract concepts, and can understand ethics and scientific reasoning. With their growth, they can understand more and they have idea how to behave in society. Adolescents can generate hypotheses. They have idea, if I do this, this will happen to me. And moral reasoning has evolved to understand that rules are a result of mutual agreement. With experiences of environment, they have proper understand about everything.
Good. Right. Is Nadisha? Nadisha is not there. Umesha?
Uh, uh, the formal operational stage, 12 plus years, in this final stage of cognitive development, children learn more specific.
Systematically.
Ma'am, this one SOPHI.
Sophisticated.
Yes. Can you repeat again?
Sophisticated. Sophisticated. Harima. Sophisticated කියලා කියන්නේ.
Tarkan.
Oh, Tarkan. Sophisticated. Oh.
Sophisticated rules of logic. They then use their rules to understand how abstract concepts work and to solve problems. The children analyze their environment, make decisions. At this point, teens become capable to thinking about abstract ideas. They often wonder what if type situation and question, and they can think about multiple solutions or possible outcomes. Ma'am, can you hear?
Yeah. Finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Can you repeat me the last two sentences, Sumisha?
Okay, ma'am. They often wonder what if type situation and question, and can think about multiple solution or possible outcomes.
Right. Okay. Now, do you know why I took this like kind of a reading from you all? Can you all guess
Yes, ma'am.
why?
New words.
Yeah, you can learn new words. Now your mouth also should be used to pronounce a lot of words, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I got the permission from the campus for you all to do a presentation as one of your assignment. Right? Okay, Tilini?
Okay,
Right.
ma'am.
So you need to talk then. Ne? By looking
Yes.
at the slide, you need to present. Okay? So one of your assignment will be a presentation. Right? So for that, we'll select a easy area and we'll try to prepare a presentation and we'll do that. Okay, you all can do. It's easy than the assignment, writing an assignment. Right? I will give you the guidelines, everything. You can prepare a beautiful presentation and present it. For that, you need to talk. You need to practice. Right? And even then teacher can now we are doing this in English medium. So you have the capability of teaching in a international school or a English medium preschool, right? For that, your mouth should work. Okay, presentation stuck. After the presentation, they will be asking you questions. For that questions, you have to answer. Right? Questions questions. We ask the questions from your slides. Right? We will tell, okay, turn to this slide, go to this slide, and we might ask a question or two. Right? So you have to verbally present. You need the practice. Okay, girls? Right. Now, do you understand Piaget's cognitive developmental theory? Any
Yes,
questions?
ma'am.
Any questions? Any questions? No? Right. Then shall we go for a short break and come?
Okay, ma'am.
We'll
Okay,
talk
ma'am.
about the Erickson's theory stage of development. Okay? Girls, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
What about Umesha? She has gone, right? Okay. So now we are talking about Erickson's theory, stages of development. Now, according to Erickson, how many stages he has introduced? How many stages he has introduced? Yes. Can you all tell me? How
Again, 4 stages, right?
4 stages? Uh, 4 stages. Then. Um, 8 stages are there, right? For us, it's only 4 stages, right? Right? For up to early childhood, he has introduced only 4 stages, but in his theory, there are 8 stages: infant, toddler, preschooler, grade teenager, young, unable to mean stages. Trust versus mistrust, Anthony versus shame and doubt, initiative versus guilt, industry versus interferity, identify versus role confusions, intimacy versus isolation, generativity versus stagnation, integrity versus right? So his theory includes 8 stages of development, right? 8 stages of development. Now his period is this 1902 to 1994, right? So Erickson emphasized that the ego makes positive contributions to development by mastering attitudes, ideas, skills at each stage of development. Okay. So emphasis, ego makes positive contributions. Positive contributions. What is an ego? What is an ego? Pagan Balan. What is an ego?
උඩඟු කියන්නේ ආඩම්බරයි.
Ah,
මමත්වය
right. Oh, right. So, we done single වචන ටික. So, makes positive contributions. ඒකෙන් මොකක්ද වෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ? Positive contributions to develop by mastering attitudes, ideas, and skills at each stage of development. Right? So, during each of Erickson's 8 stages, there is a psychological conflict that successfully overcome for a child to develop into a healthy and adjusted child, right? So in theory, the Erickson's 8 stages වල එයා කියනවා to ළමයෙක්ට successfully සාර්ථක විදියට එළියට එන්න නම් that child needs to develop in මේ stages ටිකේ ඇති වෙන psychological conflict එක අවශ්‍යමයි to develop into a healthy and well adjusted adult. ඒක එයා කියන්නේ අනාගතයේ එයාට ඒක බලපානවා කියලා. තේරුණාද?
yes ma'am.
Right. So these are the 8 stages. 8 stages. පොඩක් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මේක පැටලුන හින්දා පොඩ්ඩක් ලියා ගන්නවද පොතක කොහේ හරි? 8 stages ටික. ඉක්මනට ලියා ගන්න. right? මෙන්න මේ එක එක පාටට එක එක ඒවා ටිකක් දාගන්න. මේ trust versus mistrust එකට infant. Next one toddler. ඒ ටිකක් දාගන්න. Right? Have you finished?
No, ma'am, not finished.
Right? Girls, have you all finished? Ruangi?
Yes, ma'am. I have a question. The stages are we have to write infant, toddler, that one,
No, no,
that
no.
one.
That
Ah,
one plus
this.
this. මේ මගේ arrow එක යන්න.
Yes.
අන්න ඒවා ටික.
Uh-huh.
So
Right.
in front of
And
infant, you write trust versus mistrust.
uh,
Toddler,
uh,
autonomy versus shame and doubt.
yes.
Preschoolers, initiative versus guilt. Write down this properly.
Mm.
Okay, now we'll talk about, so, uh, now this Erikson stages of psychological based on the Sigmund Freud's psychosexual theory, right? So this Erikson proposed that we are motivated by the need to achieve competence in certain areas of our lives, right? So he proposed that we are motivated. We are motivated to achieve competence, තරඟයක් තියෙනවා, in our lives, right? So according to this theory, we experience 8 stages of development over our lifespan. මේ උපතේදී ඉඳන් අපේ ජීවිතේ ඉවර වෙනකම්ම 8 stages development එකක් තියෙනවා. Right? This is from infancy through the late adulthood. Right? So at each stage, there is a crisis or task that to be resolved. There is a problem, right? In every stage, we have a problem which we need to find solution. So successful completion of each development task results in a sense of competence and a healthy personality, right? So if you face these challenges or the task successfully, right, you will have a healthy personality, right? Failure, ඔයාලට එක කරන්න බැරි වෙනවා නම්, to master this task leads to a feeling of inadequacy. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට inadequacy එකක් වෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාලට පරාජයක්, ජීවිතේ පරාජයක් වෙනවා කියලා තමයි එයාගේ theory එකේ එයා කියන්නේ. ඔක successfully or face කරොත් ඒවා ටික, you will have a healthy personality. If you are unable to face the situation successfully, ඔයා failure කෙනෙක් වෙනවා කියලා තමයි. Right? So Erikson's also added a Freud stages by discussing the cultural implications of development. Certain cultures may need to resolve the stages in different ways based upon their cultural and survival needs. Now, culture එකත් මේකට බලපානවා. Surviving කියන එක එයා ඒකට include කරලා තියෙනවා එයාගේ theory එකේදී. Trust versus mistrust. එතකොට from birth to 12 months of age, infants must learn that the adults can be trusted. Right? ඒ කියන්නේ පළවෙනි අවුරුද්දේ මේ infants ලා ලදරුවෝ දැනගන්න ඕනේ මේ adults ලව trust කරන්න පුළුවන්. Because this occurs when adults meet the child's basic needs for survival. Tell me, the infants need the basic survival for their need. Tell me a incident. දරුවාට adult කෙනෙක්ව අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ ඇයි? ඉපදුන ගමන්ම infants ලාට මොනවටද මුලින්ම?
Eat, they can't eat.
Yes, they need their mother.
Yeah.
They develop into a healthy person because of the mother's breast milk, right? So infants must learn that adults can be trusted. This occurs when adults meet a child's basic needs for survival. For them to survive in the society, they need an adult, right? Infants are dependent upon their caregivers. ඒගොල්ලෝ depend වෙනවා caregivers ලත් එක්ක, right? And so caregivers who are responsive and sensitive to their infants needs help their body to develop a sense of trust, right? එතකොට මේ infants ලා sensitive, right? Responsive and sensitive, right? So need help their body to develop a sense of trust. මේ trust කියන එක ඇති කරගන්න ඒගොල්ලන්ට පුරුදු වෙන්න වෙනවා. Right? So their body will see the world as a safe, predictable place. Unresponsively, caregivers who do not meet their baby's need can experience feelings of anxiety, fear and mistrust. මෙන්න මේක තමයි කියන්නේ trust versus mistrust කියලා. Right? Their baby may see the world as unpredictable. So, if infants are treated cruelly or their needs are not met appropriately, they will likely grow up with a sense of mistrust for people in the world. මේක මේ ඔයගලන්ට සිම්පල් දෙයක් තියෙන මම සිංහලෙන් කියනනම් ඒ සිම්පල් දේ trust versus mistrust. අපි trust කරනවට සිංහලෙන් කියන්නේ විශ්වාස කරනවා අවිශ්වාස කරනවා. right? දරුවා කියන එක නා ලදරුවා අම්මාව විශ්වාස කරනවා. මොකද එයා ඩිපෙන්ඩ් වෙනවා අම්මගේ. එතකොට අම්මගේ ආදරය, කරුණාව ඒ හැම දෙයක්ම වෙනවා. නමුත් අම්මා කියන එක නා සරපරුෂ විදියට එයාගේ කෙයාට ඒක හරියට සලකන්නේ නැත්තම් එයාට විශ්වාසයක් ඇති වෙනවද?
නෑ.
නෑ. අන්න ඒක තමයි trust versus mistrust කියලා කියන්නේ. තේරුණාද? So මේ infancy period එකේදී දරුවට අන්න ඒ දේ තමයි තේරෙන්නේ. ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැකලා ඇති සමහරක් caretakersලා එනකොට චූටි බබලා කෑ ගහලා අඬනවා. එහෙම ඉන්සිඩන්ට් ඔයගොල්ලෝ අහලා නැද්ද? caretakersලා අම්මා නෙමෙයි කවුරු හරි බලා ගන්න එනවනම් සමහරක් බබාලා හරි ආසයි. සමහරක් අය දැක්ක ගම අඬනවා. යන්නේ නෑ යා ළඟට. ඇයි ඒ? Because they don't have the මොනවද?
Trust.
Trust. They have lost the trust. ඒගොල්ලන්ට විශ්වාසයක් නෑ එයා ගැන. Understood? තේරුණාද? එතකොට මෙන්න මෙයාගේ මේ first stage එකේදී කියවන්නේ trust versus mistrust ගැන. That is from birth to 12 months. That is first year of the our human life. Right? And toddlers from 1 to 3 years. They begin to explore their world and they learn they can control their actions and act on their environment to get results. They know that they can control their actions. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැකලා තියෙන සමහර මේ වයසේ ඉන්න බබාලට හරියට කේන්ති යන ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැකලා තියෙනව නේද? So they show clear preference. ඒගොල්ලෝ කෙලින්ම පෙන්නන මේකට මේගොල්ලෝ කැමති මේකට මේගොල්ලෝ අකමැති. මොනවද?
කොණ්ඩේ ගන්නවා.
ඔව් එහෙම ඒවත් තියෙනවා. ඔව්. මොනවද? ඒගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා ඒගොල්ලන්ට preference එකක් නැත්නම් ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ action එකක්. ඒක සමහරක් වෙලාවට අපි කැම දුන්නම if they don't like the food they refuse it. If we give them some toys, if they don't like the toys, they refuse. Don't they do it? සමහරක් වෙලාවට අල්ලලා වීසි කරනවා. නේද? ඇඳුම් එහෙමත් එහෙමයි නේද? අවුරුදු 1 3 බබාලට ඒගොල්ලන්ට කැමති ඇඳුමක් නැත්නම් ඒගොල්ලෝ ඒක අඳින්නේ නැහැ. මොකක්ද ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අඳින්නේ නැති එක මොකක්ද ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ එක? They control their action. නැද්ද? What do? They control their action. Right? They control them by their actions. So a toddler's main task is to resolve the issues of antinomy versus shame and doubt by working to establish independence. Right? So me in a stage again. So we might observe a sense of 2-year wants to choose her clothes and dress herself. Then අවුරුදු දෙකේ වගේ බබාලට ඒගොල්ලෝ කැමති they want to become very independent. Right? So she wants to choose her clothes and dress herself. So although her outfit might not be appropriate for the situation. Right? But she just want to take a basic decision. Right? To make her independence. Right? She might dress in a party wear just to go for a supermarket. Right? That is, she is trying to show the independence. Right? So what if we denied අපෝ කන් දෙන්න එපා කිව්වොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? මොකද වෙන්නේ?
They get angry.
They get angry and they begin to doubt about her abilities. And they will lead to low self-esteem and feeling of shame. අපෝ මොකද ඔය ඇඳලා තියෙන ඕක හරි නෑනේ කියලානේ අපි කියන්නේ. එතකොට මොකද දරුවට වෙන්නේ? දරුවට doubt එකක් එනවා. මම තෝරගත්ත දේ හරි නැද්ද? තෝරගත්ත දේ හරි නැද්ද? අනේ මම මේක තෝරගත්තේ වැරදි විදිහටද? She feels doubt about her abilities. So she will develop low self-esteem, poor self-esteem. එතකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? ලැජ්ජාවක් වෙනවා. තේරුණාද? තේරුණාද ඔයගලන්ට මේක? මේ ස්ටේජ් එක? They need the independence, right? So their actions can control the environment, right? ඒක autonomy. ඊට පස්සේ shame and doubt එනවා. If we reject or if we say that this is not suitable, if we deny her decision, then she feel low self-esteem and feeling of shame. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So the next one is initiative versus guilt. So this is the preschool children, 3 to 6 years. So this is the preschool stage. So they are capable of initiating activities and asserting control over their world through social interactions and play. So what happens? So they have a lot of social interactions, right? They have social interactions. So they initiate activities. They know to get into groups and develop social interactions. They know to play, right? So according to this Erickson, the children who are in this age or in this stage must resolve the task of initiative versus guilt. So by learning to plan and achieve goal while interacting with others, preschool children can master this task. So they have to achieve their goals. How are they going to achieve these goals? By interacting with others. Right? Right? So initiative, a sense of ambition and responsibility, occurs when parents allow a child to explore within limits and then supports the child's choice. What does it happen? Initiate කරනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ parents ලා allow කරනවා ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඕන දේ හොයාගන්න within their limits. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ limits ඇතුලේ ඒගොල්ලන්ට අවශ්‍ය මොනවද කියලා explore කරන්න. Right? And then support the child's choice. ඊට පස්සේ then when the parents realize that this is what he needs, then the parents support the child's choice. Right? And එතකොට මේ දරුවෝ develop වෙනවා with self confidence and they feel that sense of purpose. ඒගොල්ලෝ වටිනාකමක් දෙනවා. අම්මා මං කියන දේ අහුවා, අම්මා තේරුම් ගත්තා මං කියන දේ කියන එක. Right? Those who are unsuccessful at this age, successful නැති අය ඒගොල්ලෝ guilt එකක් එනවා. නිකම් වැරදිකාරයෙක් වගේ. සමහරකට අපි කියන්නේ I feel guilty කියලා. ඒගොල්ලන්ට හිතනවා අනේ there is no one to help me, there is no one to understand, there is no one to support me, so they feel that they feel kind of a guilty. Do you understand? Initiative කියන්නේ parents are supportive. They identify what the children needs and they support the child to achieve their needs. Right? And there are some children, so with that, they develop their self-confidence. At the same time, there are some children, they don't get the enough support. Parents don't understand their needs, right? So they become very unsuccessful during this stage. එතකොට ඒගොල්ලන්ට එන්නේ වැරදි අනේ මම වැරදිකාරයෙක් කියන වැටහීම. තේරුණාද?
Yes, madam.
Right. Now we discuss about how many stages? How many stages we discuss? Trust versus mistrust, shift doubt, and then last we discuss it versus guilt. Right? So now we are going to talk about what is the next one? What is the next stage? Industry versus
Industry versus inferiority.
purity. Yes. Here, the children begin to compare themselves. මෙන්න මේ වයස බලන්න මේ අවුරුදු 6 12. They try to compare themselves with their peers to see how they measure up. කොහොමද ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ development එක වෙන්නේ? Sense of pride, accomplishment in their school, sport work, and social activities, family, right? So they feel interfere and inadequate because they feel that they don't measure up, right? So if children do not learn to get along with others or have negative experiences at home with peers, an inferiority complex might develop and into an adolescent and adulthood. Inferiority කියන්නේ මොකද්ද දරුවෝ? මොකද්ද inferiority කියන්නේ? කියන්න බලන්න මට. Inferiority මොකද්ද? Inferiority.
හීනමානය.
Right. Oh. තමන් ගැන මදි පුංචිකමක් කියලා අපි කියන්නේ. හීනමානයක් තමයි නේ. right? එතකොට මොකද්ද මේ වෙන්නේ? දැන් මේ වයසේ ළමයිගේ අවුරුදු 6 12 ළමයිගේ මොනවද වෙන්නේ? ඒගොල්ලෝ හැමතිස්සෙම what do they do? What do they do?
They are comparing
They
with peers,
compare. They compare with whom?
with their
Others.
peers.
Yes.
With her or his peers. හරි? එතකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? යාට මදි පුංචිකමක් තේරුණා. මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ? මොනවා හරි ඉස්කෝලේ වැඩ වලින් හරි ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඇක්ටිවිටීස් මොනවා හරි යාළගේ ඉවෙන්ට්ස් වලින් හරි මොනවා හරි එයාට ඩිවෙලොප් කරගන්න accomplishment එකකට යන්න බැරි වුණොත් ළඟාවීමකට යන්න බැරි වුණොත් එයාට මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ? හරි මදි පුංචිකමක් වෙනවා. අනේ මට ඒක කරගන්න බැරි වුණා. ඇයි මට කරගන්න බැරි වුණේ? අනිත් එක්කෙනා එක ලස්සනට කරා මට විතරයි කරගන්න බැරි වුණේ. නේද? එහෙම හිතනවා නේද? හා? දැන් පොඩි මදි
Yes.
පුංචිකම. එතකොට
Yes,
මොකද එයාට වෙන්නේ? එයා හැම තිස්සෙම එයා ගැන හිතන්නේ මොන විදියටද?
Low.
Negative විදියට. She always think about herself in negative way. අනේ මට එදත් කරගන්න බැරි වුණා අදත් මේක කරගන්න බැරි වෙයි. කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයිද දන්නේ නැහැ. Right? Inferiority complex might develop into the මෙන්න මේ තත්ත්වේ ඉස්සරහටත් යනවා. මේ inferiority. තමන් හැමතිස්සෙම කොහොමද හිතන්නේ තමන්ට බෑ. අනේ මට එදා කරගන්න බැරුණා අදත් කරගන්න බැරි වෙයි හෙටවත් කරගන්න බැරි. මෙන්න මේක ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ life එකේ ඉස්සරහට යනවා. They will develop this into the adolescent as well. And sometimes this will go for adulthood. So ඔයගලන්ටත් හම්බ වෙලා ඉතින් හැම සමහර මිනිස්සු ඉන්නවා හැම දෙයක්ම පටන් ගන්න යනවා. ඒව කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? They never try to do it. Have you met some people like that? කාවත් හම්බෙලා තියෙනවද?
Yes.
හැමදාම ඉන්නේ නෙගටිව් විදියට කරන්න බෑ අපිට කොහෙන්ද සල්ලි ඕවා කරන්න කවුද අපිට ඕවට උදව් කරන්න ඉන්නේ නේද අනිම නෙගටිව් ෆීලිං එකක් තියෙනවා ඒක පොඩි කාලේ ඉඳන් මේගොල්ලෝ එක ලොකු වෙන්න අරගෙන යනවා because they in this period they try to compare themselves අනේ අරයට පුළුවන් මට බෑ එයාට ලස්සනට ඉස්කෝලේ වැඩ පුළුවන් දැන් අපේ ටීචර්ස් ලයික් අම්මලා ඉතින් හැමතිස්සෙම යන්නේ compare කරන්නනේ they always try to compare. So when they realize, she has done, I couldn't do, so she develops podi podi madi punchikamak එයාට එනවා. එයා ඒක දිගින් දිගටම කරන. Whatever the activity that comes to the child, she will think that I will not be able to succeed in this activity කියලා එයාට feeling එකක් එනවා. තේරුණාද? Right? So this is the what is this stage? What is this stage? Fourth one, grade school. Right? So beyond the nursery level. Right? from 6 to 12. පෙර පාසලේ උඩට ගිහිල්ලා. The next role is identity versus role. So especially 12 to 18, 18 to 16, 18 years is. 18, 12 to 18. අවුරුදු 12 18ත් අතර. So these children face this task of identity versus role confusion. Right? So, according to Erikson, an adolescent's main task is developing a sense of self. So, adolescents struggle karanawa with questions: who am I? What do I want to do with my life? අන්නෝක මම කවුද මට මොනවද කරන්න ඕනේ? Right? So most adults try many different to see which of fits. ගොඩාක් අය බලනවා මොකද්ද මේකට හරියන්නේ. Right? So they try to explore variety of roles and ideas. They try to set lot of objectives and try to attempt to discover their adult selves. එක එක roles වලට යනවා. එක එක මේ මොනවාද goals ඒගොල්ලන්ට අරමුණු හදා ගන්නවා. Right? So adolescents who are successful at this stage have a strong sense of identity. සමහර දරුවන්ට ඒක හොඳට identify කරගන්නවා ඒගොල්ලෝ. Who am I? මම මොනවද කරන්න ඕනේ? මම මොනවද නොකරන්න ඕනේ? Right? So some children, they identify it very carefully and they succeed in during that stage. Right? And they have a strong sense of identity. Right? ඔගොල්ලෝ දැකලා තියෙනවනේ සමහරක් දරුවෝ දැන් මෙන්න මේ වයස වෙනකොට ඔගොල්ලෝ අවුරුදු 12 18 වෙනකොට දැන් අපිට උනත් තේරෙනවනේ මේ දරුවා මේවට දක්ෂයි. මේ දරුවා මේවට දක්ෂයි. ඒ දරුවා එක දරුවෙක් ස්පෝර්ට්ස් පැත්තකට යනවා. තව දරුවෙක් කලාව පැත්තකට යනවා. ඔගොල්ලෝ දැකලා තියෙනව නේද? දැකලා නැද්ද? දැන් ඔය මෙන්න මේ වයස් කාණ්ඩය අතරදීනේ අපිට ඉස්කෝලේදී උනත් choice එකක් දෙන්නේ which area you like කියන එක. එතකොට සමහර ළමයි සින්දු කියන්න පුළුවන්, සමහර ළමයි නටන්න පුළුවන්, සමහර ළමයි ස්පෝර්ට්ස් වලට දක්ෂ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. නේද? එතකොට who am I and what do I want to do with my life? අන්න ඒව තමන් අඳුන ගන්නවා මට මෙන්න මේ දක්ෂතාවයන් තියෙනවා කියන එක. Right? ඊට පස්සේ ඔහොම හොයාගන්න බැරි වුණ ළමයි මොකද වෙන්නේ? If they couldn't find any identity, what will happen? What will happen? මොකද වෙන්නේ? තමන්ගේ දක්ෂතා තමන්ට පුළුවන් මොනවද? තමන් කොහෙද ඉන්නේ? තමන් මොනවද වෙන්න ඕනේ කියන ඒවා හොයාගන්න බැරි වෙනකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? pressure එකක් එනවා. Right? Pressure එකක් පීඩනයක් එනවා. So they might develop a weak sense of self and experience role confusion. What should I do? Confused වෙනවා ඒගොල්ලෝ. මොනවද මම කරන්න ඕනේ? Right? So they will be unsure of their identity. They can't find out their identity. එයාට ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ දක්ෂතාවයන් අඳුන ගන්න බැරි වෙනවා. එතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ මොනවද වෙන්නේ? Confused about their future. අනේ මට මොනවද වෙන්නේ ඉස්සරහට? So teenagers, the children who are in the age of 12 to 18 years, who struggle to adopt a positive role will likely struggle to find themselves as adults. Right? මේ teenagers මෙහෙම දඟලනකොට ඒගොල්ලන්ට they can't find their identity. Right? They are confused. අන්න එතකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඒගොල්ලන්ට positive role එකක් නැහැ. They try to get a positive role, but they are fail. In adulthood also, they will be a failure. Do you understand? The ඔයගොල්ලන්ට හම්බ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ සමහර දරුවෝ ඔහේ යනවා. දැකලා තියෙනවද? මේ දෙමව්පියෝ උනත් හොයාගන්නේ නැහැ දරුවාගේ දක්ෂතාවය මොකක්ද කියන එක. ඔහේ හතර වටේ යනවා. දැකලා නැද්ද? සමහර දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ බලනකොට සමහරක් අය ඉන්නවා ජොබ්ස් වලට යනවා. right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැකලා නැද්ද? ඔන්න මා අවුරුද්දක් දෙකක් ටීචර් කෙනෙක් විදිහට ඉස්කෝලේක වැඩ කරනවා. ආයිමත් ඔන්න අපිට ආරංචි වෙනවා තව ඔෆිස් එකකට ගිහිල්ලා වැඩ කරලා කියලා. ආයිමත් අපිට ආරංචි වෙනවා බැංක් එකක කියලා. ආයිමත් අපිට ආරංචි වෙනවා ඔන්න මොකක් හරි පොඩි ඉස්කෝලේක කියලා. ආයිමත් ආරංචි වෙනවා මොකක් හරි ඕගනයිසේෂන් එකක කියලා. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට හම්බ වෙලා නැද්ද මේ වගේ අය? හම්බ වෙලා නැද්ද? මට නම් මේ පන්තියෙන්මත් හම්බ වෙලා. මේ පොලිමැත් එකේදීමත් හම්බ වෙලා තියෙනවා මේ වගේ පිස්සු කෝච්චි ටිකක්. හම්බ වෙලා නැද්ද ඔයගලන්ට?
තියෙනවා මැඩම්.
ඒගොල්ලන්ට එක අරමුණක් නැහැ. අරකින් මේකට පයින්නවා මේකෙන් මේකට පයින්නවා මේකෙන් මේකට පයින්නවා. කොහේ නන්නත් අරලා. කොහේ හරි සැලරි වැඩි කිව්වොත් ඒකට ඇප්ලයි කරලා ඒකට රින්ගනවා. කොහේ හරි බෙනිෆිට්ස් වැඩි කිව්වොත් ඒකට යනවා. ආයිමත් අනේ වෙලාවම නැහැ ළමයි ගැන බලන්න නැහැ කියලා ඔන්න ආයිමත් ටීචින් වලට එනවා. එහෙම තියෙනව නේද? අරමුණක් නැහැ. They have not identified what they can do. අන්න මේ කාලේදී ඒගොල්ලන්ට කිසිම මේකක් නැහැ මට මොනවද කරන්න පුළුවන් කියන එක identify කරන්නේ නැහැ කියන එක තමයි මේ theory එකෙන් කියන්නේ. Identity. They don't identify what they are good at and what type of roles that they can. තේරුණා නේද? අන්න ඕක අවුරුදු 12 18 they have to identify who am I? What can I do? මට මොනවද කරන්න පුළුවන්? මම කොහෙද where should I go in my future? හැම එක්කෙනාම එතනට යන්නේ නැහැ. Right? But we have a aim. We know our path. කොහොම යනකොට අපිට වෙන ඒවා අතරින් අතර අහු වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක වෙනම කතාවක්. තේරුණාද ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මෙතනට වෙනකන් ක්ලියර්ද කියන්න මට?
Yes ma'am.
What about you all too? Tirini okay? Ruangi okay?
Yes, madam.
Right. Okay. So the next one. Intimacy. Isolation. When අවුරුදු 20 through අවුරුදු 40 concerned with intimacy versus isolation. Right? So after we have developed a sense of self in adolescence, we are ready to share our life with others. Right? However, if other stages have not been successfully resolved, young adults may have trouble developing and maintaining successful relationship with others. Right? So Erickson said that we must have a strong sense of self before we can develop successful intimate relationships. Right? So before you get into a relationship, you should identify that but tell me what you should understand. That you can develop and you can maintain a healthy relationship with someone else. Right? So adults who do not develop a positive self-concept in adolescence may experience feeling of loneliness and emotional isolation. Right? ඔගොල්ලන්ට relationship එකක් හරියට build up කරගන්න බැරි නම් not only the building up, right? You should be able to maintain the relationship. Different sex. Right? So if you can't maintain or build up a relationship, එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ මොකද්ද feeling එක වෙන්නේ? You feel loneliness, emotional isolation. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට තනිකමක් දැනෙනවා. මේ තනිකම දැනුනට කමන්නේ තනියම ඉන්න එක තමයි හොඳ. හරිද රුවන්ගේ? මේ වහලා මේ ඔළුව අවුල් කරගන්න එහෙම යන්න එපා. Okay? ඔය ඉන්න විදිය තමයි හොඳම විදිය. Okay රුවන්ගේ? Right? So when you can't build up a good relationship and maintain a relationship, why? So you will have a feeling of loneliness and emotional isolation. That is said by Erickson. මම නෙමෙයි කියන්නේ. Okay? So මෙන්න මේ period එකේදී අපිට ඒක අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා කියන එක තමයි Erickson කියන්නේ. Right? So we need to find the partners and we need to build up the relationships and maintain the relationship. Right? Understood? තේරුණාද?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So the next one. So when people reach their 40s, මමත් දැන් යන්නේ ඒ කාලෙද කොහෙද? Middle adulthood එකට එනවා. Right? So this goes to 60s. Right? So during this period, generativity involves finding your life's work and contributing to the development of others through activities such as volunteering, mentoring, and raising children. So අවුරුදු 40 වුණාම ඉතින් ඕක තමයි හැමෝටම වෙන්නේ. Right? So we contribute to the next generation. We always think about our children. Right? Childbirth and caring for others. Right? The people who are in this engage in meaningful and productive work which contributes positively to the society. අවුරුදු 40 මෙන්න මේ වගේ කාලෙනකොට we think about then අපි දැන් ඔය ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ කාලේ වගේනට අවුරුදු 20 25 30 වගේ එනකොට අපි බැලුවේ අපේ සුබ සිද්ධිය. අපිට ලස්සන ඇඳුමක් ගන්න ඕනේ, වාහනයක් ගන්න ඕනේ, ලස්සන දෙයක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. පාටි එකක් තිබ්බම ලස්සනට ඇඳගෙන යන්න ඕනේ. නේ? But when we come to this age, middle adulthood, okay, we always see the betterment of our children. අපි බලනවා ළමයි ගැන. ළමයි හොඳට හදලා අපි කොහටද දාන්නේ? Society එකට. Right? So this will work positively in the society. We always think of the betterment of our children. Right? එතකොට ළමයි හම්බ වෙන ඒවා, ඒගොල්ලන්ව බලා ගන්න ඒවා, ඒගොල්ලන්ව productive වැඩකට යොදවන එක. Right? ඔක්කොම මෙන්න මේක වෙනවා මේ period එකේදී. එතකොට මෙහෙම වෙන්න කරන්න දෙයක් නැති වෙනකොට stagnation. මොකද stagnation කියන්නේ? මොකද stagnation කියන්නේ? ඔයගොල්ලෝ stagnating life එකක් කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ හිර වෙලා. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. අන්න ඒ වගේ feeling එකක් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට එනවා. There is no way that you can help the world in a meaningful way කියලා you feel that. Right? So they may have little connections with others and little interest in productivity and self-improvement. මේ කාලේදී ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැකලා ඇති මේ කාලේදී සමහරක් අයට nowadays of course there are so many issues, family problems තියෙනවා, fertility problems තියෙනවා, දරුවෝ හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැතිව තියෙනවා. අන්න ඒක මෙහෙම ගොඩාක් ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා අද කාලේ නම්. එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැකලා ඇති අය ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ improvement එකක් දකින්නේ නැහැ. development එකක්. අඳින විදියද, හිතන විදියද, ගයක් හදාගෙන ඉන්න ඕනේ කියලාද එහෙම improvement එකක් ඒගොල්ලෝ දකින්නේ නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලෝ stagnate එක තැනක කැරකෙනවා. stagnating පල් වෙනවා කියනවා වගේ. දියුණුවක් දකින්නේ නැහැ. දැන් ඕගොල්ලෝ බලනකො දැන් ඕගොල්ලෝ තැනකට ගිහිල්ලා ඉගෙන ගන්න ආසයි, ඕගොල්ලෝ improve වෙන්න ආසයි. නේ? මොනවා හරි දේවල් ගැන හොයලා බලන්න. ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ professional qualifications develop කරගන්න. ඕගොල්ලෝ බලනවා. නේ? දැන් අර විදියට උනාම ඔයගලන්ට කිසිම උවමනාවක් නැහැ. අපි කියන්නේ කිසි උවමනාවක් නැහැ කියලා. අන්න ඒකයි. There is no self improvement. Understood? තේරුණාද?
Yes, ma'am.
So then when it comes to the 60s at the end of the life, we are in the period of development known as late adulthood. So Erickson's task at this stage is called integrity versus despair. He said that people in late adulthood reflect on their lives and feel either a sense of satisfaction or a sense of failure. අවුරුදු 60 විතර වෙනකොට ගොඩක් මිනිස්සු සන්තෝෂ වෙනවා. මම මේවා දේවල් කරා, මම මේවා දේවල් කරා. So they can be happy about their self. Right? There are some people who feel failures. අනේ මට මුකුත් කරගන්න බැරි වුණා. මට මගේ ළමයිට මුකුත් කරගන්න බැරි. මට කියලා දෙයක් කරගන්න බැරි වුණා. Right? People who feel proud of their accomplishment feel a sense of integrity. මට මේව දේවල් කරා, මම අරහට අරම කරා, මම මගේ දරුවන්ට මෙහෙම කරා, මම දරුවෝ හොඳ දරුවෝ දෙතුන් දෙනෙක් මේ සමාජයට බිහි කරා. So you feel integrity. Right? And they can look back on their lives with few regrets. පිටිපස්ස හැරිලා බලන්න පොඩි regrets තියෙන පුළුවන්. We all have it. Right? So however, people who are not successful at this stage may feel as if their life has been wasted. අනේ අපරාධ මගේ ජීවිතේ. They focus on what would I have, should I have, and I could have do. They face the end of their lives with feeling of bitterness, depression, and despair. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ජීවිතේ අන්තිම කාලේ ගත කරන්නේ බොහෝම දුකින්. මට මේව කරගන්න බැරි වුණා. ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැක්කද දැන් කාලේ ගොඩාක් අයට දැන් මේ අපේ වයසින් අම්ම ළමයින්ට ડિප්‍රෙෂන් කියන එක තියෙනවා. right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැකලා තියෙනව නේද? ડિප්‍රෙෂන් එක. ඇයි ඒ ડિප්‍රෙෂන් එන්නේ? why? Why is it? මොනවද? ડિප්‍රෙෂන් එක දැන් මේ අද කාලේ නම් තරුණ ළමයිට හරියට ડિප්‍රෙෂන්. ඒකනේ මනෝවිද්‍යාඥවරු ඔච්චර ඔය YouTube එකේ Facebook එකේ එක ඒවා දාන්නේ. නේ? ඇයි ડિප්‍රෙෂන් වෙන්නේ? කියන්න බලන්න මට. why?
වැරදි තීරණ අරගෙන
yes.
ජීවිතේ
හරි. තව?
satisfaction එකක් නැත්.
Dissatisfaction, yes. And too much of work, too much of pressure. Right? Most of them can't bear the pressure. නේ. අර ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඔෆිස් එකේ ප්‍රෙෂර් එක කියයි, ගෙදරින් ප්‍රෙෂර් එක කියයි. නේ? අන්න ඒක. right? අන්න ඒව හින්දා they become depression. They don't satisfy with what they have. And another thing is they always try to compare. අනේ අර මේකක් වෙන මට එහෙම එකක් නෑ. අර අයියේ ගාර එකක් අරගෙන මට කාර් එකක් නෑ. කොහොම තියෙනවා නේද? අපේ ගෑනු අයට ඔය ප්‍රශ්නේ හරියට තියෙනවා.
Yes.
නේ? එතකොට මොකද නිකන් ලෙඩ වෙනවා. නිකන් ලෙඩ වෙනවා. හැමතිස්සෙම නෑ. තමන් උත්සාහයෙන් ගන්න දෙයක් බලන්නේ නෑ. ඔය ගොඩාක් නෑනලා එහෙම. අපේ නෑනත් එහෙම. හැමතිස්සෙම අපිට තියෙන්නේ මොනවද? එයාට නැත්නම් මොනවද? අපේ ළමයිට මොනවද තියෙන්නේ? එයාගේ ළමයිට මොනවද නැත්නම්. ඔහොම මෙතන නිකන් මොනවද වෙන්නේ? ලෙඩ වෙන එක. අපි බලන්නේ ආයෙත් එහෙම එකක් ගත්තා නම් අපිටත් ඒ වගේ එකට යන්න පුළුවන්ද කියන එක. ඒකට අපේ ජීවිතේ we have an aim to reach. Right? So with under pressure now we sometimes now I did today's lessons with so many pressure. Right? So but we should be able to control our pressure and do our work properly. Right? So we have to face that challenge. මෙන්න මේ අවුරුදු 60 දැන් නම් 60ට කලින් මිනිසුන්ට ડિප්‍රෙෂන් කියන එක එනවා. ડિප්‍රෙෂන් කියන්නේ අමතක වෙන. මේ කියන දේ මේ මතක නැහැ. right? එතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ හිතනවා life is bitter. හරි තිත්තයි ජීවිතේ. හරි කටුකයි ජීවිතේ. right? එතකොට අන්න මේක ගොඩාක් ඒගොල්ලන්ට එන්නේ ජීවිතේ අන්තිම කාලෙදී. දැන් නම් මේ ડિප්‍රෙෂන් කියන එක පොඩ්ඩක් අවුරුදු 40 45 50 ඒ වගේ වයසින් ධම්ම තියෙනවා. They are not satisfied. හැමදාම එකම දේ ගැන හිතනවා. බැහැ කියලා හිතන්නේ. Understood? මෙන්න මේක තමයි මේ එරික්සන් එයාගේ stages of development එකේ 8 stage එක අපේ life span එක අපේ ජීවිතය stages 8කට බෙදලා මේ stage එකේදී මෙන්න මේවා වෙනවා මෙන්න මේක නොවුනොත් මෙන්න මෙහෙම වෙනවා කියන එක කියලා දීලා තිබෙනවා. දැන් ඕගොල්ලෝ පොඩ්ඩක් මේක දිහා හොඳට බැලුවොත් ඇත්ත නේද මෙයා මේ කියන්නේ කියලා තේරෙයි. තේරෙන්නේ නැද්ද ඔයගලන්ට? දැන් බලන්න මෙන්න මේ අවුරුදු 12 18 කෑල්ල නැද්ද? මේ අවුරුදු 20 40 නේ? 6 12ත් එහෙමනේ. නැද්ද? ඔයගලන්ට හිතෙන්නේ නැද්ද? මේ කතාව ඇත්ත කියලා මේ theory is true කියන එක? එහෙම හිතෙන්නේ මට විතරද හිතෙන්නේ?
නෑ හිතනවා මැඩම්.
අපේ ගොඩාක් ලයිෆ් එක මේ වගේනේ. අපි හැමතිස්සෙම අපිට කරන්න බැරි වුණොත් අපි ෆේලියර් කෙනෙක් කියලා හිතනවා. නේ? ටීනේජර්ස්ලා එහෙම ගොඩාක් ළමයි සෆර් කරනවානේ. ඒගොල්ලන්ට හරි පැත්ත තෝරගන්න බෑ. තෝරගන්න there is no support and sometimes the parents are so busy they can't identify the talents of the children. Right? නිකන් ඔහේ vulnerable වගේ ඔහේ කරන්නම් වාලේ කරගෙන යනවා. ළමයිනුත් එහෙමයි, දෙමව්පියොත් එහෙමයි. So at the end දෙමව්පියොත් suffer කරනවා නේ මගේ දරුවාගේ දේ මං අඳුනගත්තේ නැහැ කියන එක. ළමයිනුත් suffer කරනවා අනේ මට මෙයාට මෙච්චර දක්ෂතා තිබුණ කෙනෙක් මම මේවා අඳුනගත්තේ නැහැ කියන එක. තේරෙනවද? අන්න එහෙම වෙලා තමයි they get depressed. and ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැකලා ඇති සමහරක් අය suicide කරගන්නවා නේ. සමහරක් අයට පිස්සු හැදෙනවා නේ. දැන් ඔය intimacy versus isolation එක අවුරුදු 20 40 කාලේ හරි හමං විදියට රිලේෂන්ෂිප් එකක් බිල්ඩ් අප් කරගන්න බැරි වුණොත් මොකද මිනිස්සු කරන්නේ? දැන් ඉන්න අය නම් එහෙම කරන්නේ අනේ අනේ කාට යන්න දීලා තව එකෙක් අල්ල ගන්න නේද? අපි වගේ මෝඩයෝ තමයි මේ එකාමත්තෙම මැරිලා මේ වුනේ. right? but in most of the cases they can't control their feelings. පිස්සු වැටෙනවා නේ? ජීවිත හානි කරගන්නවා නේද? ඔයගොල්ලෝ අහලා තියෙනවනේ මේ වගේ කතා. ඊට පස්සේ මොකද වෙන්නේ? සමහරක් වෙලාවට ඒගොල්ලෝ දැන් තියෙන ට්‍රෙන්ඩ් එක නම් මොනවද වෙන්නේ කියන්නකෝ දැන්? වෙන මොකක් හරි සම්බන්ධයක් පටලවා ගන්නවා. එක්ක බඳපු මිනිස්සෙක් එක්ක, එක්ක බඳපු ගෑණියෙක් එක්ක නේද? දැන් ඒක හරිම ට්‍රෙන්ඩ් එකක් වෙලානේ නේ. කොල්ලෝ යනවා වයසක ඇන්ටිලත් එක්ක, කෙල්ලෝ යනවා වයසක අංකල්ලත් එක්ක. ඒක දැන් ට්‍රෙන්ඩ් එකක් නේ. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඒක දැනෙලා නැද්ද?
Yes, ma'am.
ඇයි ඒගොල්ලන්ට කන්ට්‍රෝල් කරගන්න බෑ. they can't maintain their relationships. දැන් නම් යන්නේ relationship maintain කරගන්න සල්ලි වලටනේ. මට නම් තේරෙන්නේ එහෙමයි. මේ මම දන්නේ නැහැ. that is my feeling. right? so ඔන්න ඔය හේතු හින්දා තමයි ඊට පස්සේ මොනවද වෙන්නේ ඔය? අනියම් සම්බන්ධතා වලින් මොනවද වෙන්නේ? නිකම් මිනිමරු. නේ? ඒව අවසාන වෙන්නේ හොඳ දෙයකින්ද?
No.
No. yes. අන්න ඕක තමයි ඉතින් අපේ ලයිෆ් එක. මේ එරික්සන් ලස්සන්ට කියලා තියෙනවා මේ ලයිෆ් එක කොහොමද ගත වෙන්නේ කියන එක. තේරුණාද ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මේක? තේරුන්නේ නැද්ද? අර තිරිණි මොකෝ
තේරුණා මට.
understand ma'am. නෑ මම මේ කල්පනා කරගෙන ඉතියේ මේ දැන් මෙයා මේ මොනාගෙන්ද මේ මෙච්චර දේවල් හොයාගත්තේ කියලා.
ආයෙත් අහලා නේද? මේගොල්ලෝ හොයාගෙන අපිටයි කරදරේ. නේ? බලාගෙන ගියාම ඉතින් ඕවා ඒ කාලේ නම් තියෙන්නේ නැති නේද? දැන් පොඩ්ඩක් ඕවා වැඩි වෙලා තියෙනවා නේ?
නෑ මෑම් සෝෂල් මීඩියා නෑනේ. ඒක අපි දන්නේත් නෑ.
දැන් ඉතින් ඔය ගොඩාක් දේවල් මම දන්නේ දැන් ඔය සෝෂල් මීඩියා වලින් මම නම් ඔය වීඩියෝස් එකෙන් බලන්නෙත් නැහැ. බැලුවම නිකන් අපේ ඔළුව අවුල් වෙනවනේ නේ. මේ එහෙම දේවල් තියෙනවා ඉතින් අපේ ලයිෆ් එක. නේද girls? right. එතකොට අපි theories දෙකක් කරා. දැන් මට කැම්පස් එකකින් කිව්වා ඔයගලන්ට ප්‍රසන්ටේෂන් එකක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. ඒකින්ද අපි ප්‍රසන්ටේෂන් එකට යමු එක මොඩියුල් එකකදී. මේ එක ප්‍රසන්ටේෂන් එකකට යමු. මම පොඩ්ඩක් හෙට ඔයගලන්ට බලලා කියන්නම්. මම අද උදේ ඉඳන්ම ගෙදර තමයි හිටියේ but I couldn't do anything because මගේ ලොකු එක්කෙනාගේ හෙට එක්සෑම් එක. එයාවල් ගැන වැඩ ටිකක් කරා මේ I couldn't go through the syllabus even. We'll see. අපි තව එකක් කරලා බලමු which topic is easy for you all. right? ඔයගලන්ට ලේසි topic එකකින් අපි presentation එක දෙන්න බලමු. කොහොමද?
Yes
Okay,
ma'am. තව අනිත් එකත් කරලා බලමුනේ තව.
කරලා බලමු. හරි? එතකොට අපිට පොඩි අයිඩියා එකක් එනවනේ මොකක්ද අපි කරන්න ඕනේ කියන එක. right? එතකොට තව පොඩ්ඩක් තියෙනවා foundations of child development and education එකේ different roles and responsibilities මේකම දේ අප්පා යන්නේ setting the foundation for teacher child relationship, establishing trust and rapport අපි කතා කරා observation assessment අපි කරානේ. We did the assessment. Can you remember? ආන්ටිලා ටිකට මතක නැහැ? අනියානේ.
Yes, madam, we done
Why is
assessment.
assessment important? Discuss the different assessment methods අපි කරේ. Evaluation එක. නේ? හරි අපි තව චුට්ටක් කරලා බලමු. හරි? මම ඔයගලන්ට මේ අරකේ assignment එකක් දාන්නම්. අද පුළුවන් වුණොත් අද රැයට මම කරලා දාන්නම්. කරලා කියන්නේ මට page setting එක හදාගන්න අර girl ට යවන්න ඕනේ. එච්චරයි. එතකොට ඔයගලන්ට ඒකටත් පොඩ්ඩක් ready වෙන්න පුළුවන් නේ.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
ඔව්. හොයලා තියාගන්න පුළුවන්.
ඔව්. ඔයාලා නම් තියාගන්නේ නැහැ. ඔය ආන්ටිලා ටික නෙමෙයි. මේ ඊට පස්සේ තියෙන health safety nutrition. අපි බලමු which is easy. මේ health and nutrition එකනොත් ඔයගලන්ට පුළුවන් presentations වලට යන්න. අපි බලමු. Right? Okay girls, any questions? Tomorrow we'll
No.
have the class at 3:30. හොඳයි?
Okay, ma'am.
3:30, yes. Because I
Okay,
have
ma'am.
to take my son for swimming lessons. එතකොට එයාත් එක්ක එනකොට 2:30 වෙනවා. 3:30 වලට ගමු. Okay girls, then shall we wind up the session?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
For joining. Please pass
Thank
the
you,
message
ma'am. Good
to
night.
the people who didn't join, right?
Okay,
Thank
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Good night.